We're moving into Warrior 2. You're gonna come into a split stance. You want one foot facing forward and the back foot slightly staggered forward with your toes at 45 degrees. You're gonna think about taking that back foot and pressing your pinky toe on the outside of your foot into the mat. From here, we're gonna start bending into that front leg, keeping the foot flat and the heel on the ground. You're gonna extend your arms straight out at shoulder height. You're gonna try to rotate your hips towards forward as far as you can, and then we're gonna look straight forward over that lead hand. We're gonna hold this position for 45 seconds. So front foot is planted, knee is bent, chest and back up nice and tall, arms are out at shoulder height with the shoulders relaxed down away from the ears. That back foot is planted, really focusing on pressing the outside of the foot into the mat. So feeling a stretch in the inner thigh of the back leg, also just bringing stability and balance into the lower body, and then we're strengthening the upper body from holding those arms up. All right, time's up on that side. We're gonna switch. So finding those positionings, bend into that front leg, press the outside of the back foot down, extend your arms, and we are holding for 45 seconds. All right, and time is up. Come back to center. We're moving into a dynamic side lunge. Starting centered on your mat, you're gonna take a generous step out to the side. From here, both feet are planted, toes are facing forward. The leg you stepped out with is the one you're gonna bend as you shift those hips back. Loading the heels, keeping the chest up nice and tall. That one leg is straight and we're only bending the one that we stepped out with. From here, you're gonna push down through the heel to bring yourself back up, and we're gonna go off the other way. So you're gonna alternate for 1 minute. So as soon as you're done stepping out to the side, think everything shifts back. Instead of to the side, we're loading the heels, push down through the heel to come back up. So we're strengthening into the lower body. We're using those adductors. Firstly, we're stretching, but then we're using them to bring ourselves back in each time you step. All right, time is up. Come back to center. We're moving into a single leg hamstring stretch. So standing on your mat, you're gonna prop one heel out in front, toes up, taking your hips and shifting them back, maintaining a flat back, tall torso, feeling a stretch in the back of your leg, and we're gonna hold for 1 minute. If your hamstrings are super tight, you can have a small bend in that knee, or you could just be less upright or less bent over in that position to release out of that stretch. And if you need more of a stretch, you're gonna push your hips back more, bring your torso a little lower, but try to maintain a flat back. All right, time's up on that side. Go ahead and switch. Coming into position and holding for 1 minute. All right, time is up. Release and come back to center. We're moving into dynamic baby cobra. Coming onto your belly, legs are extended out, and you're gonna have your forearms flat, hands down at your sides. From here, tuck your chin towards your chest, relax your body down. You wanna make sure that your pelvis is not rotated up. So think about taking your pelvis and tucking it under, squeezing your glutes to keep your pelvis against the mat. So you wanna hold that. Then from here, use your back as much as you can to pull your chest up. You can look straight forward. We're gonna hold for a second and then release back down. Repeating this movement for 1 minute. So if you feel this uncomfortable in your low back, you have to really focus on pelvis tucking under, engaging your glutes. That's gonna keep your low back neutral as you go throughout those movements. So again, trying to focus on isolating into the back and the core, using that to pull you up versus just pressing into the mat. All right, time is up. Go ahead and release and come back to center. We're moving into a side lying leg lift. So coming onto your side, you're gonna prop yourself up on your forearm, so elbow underneath the shoulder. You can have the bottom leg bent, but we're gonna straighten out the top one. Now you want to, from here with that leg straight, internally rotate at the hip. So think about taking your toes and rotating them down slightly. So your hip is just slightly pulled inward. Then from here, you're gonna lift that leg straight up, really focus on squeezing the side glute, and then return back down. We're gonna repeat for 45 seconds. You could have your hand down for support, or sometimes even having it on the muscle you're trying to work will help you, but we wanna get right into that side glute. All right, time's up on that side. We're gonna switch. And repeating for 45 seconds. Again, make sure you are internally rotating that hip so toes are slightly pressed or pointed down before you start. All right, time is up. Come back to center. We're moving into a frog stretch. Coming on your mat, you're gonna bring your knees and your feet the distance of your mat. So they're running right along the edges. Walking your hands forward, you're gonna let your hips come back, settling into the stretch and holding for 1 minute. If you have any knee sensitivities, you can also bring your feet in closer together if that feels a little bit better. So while we're holding the stretch, we're aiming to feel a stretch in our hips, our groin, and you might be feeling it into your chest and shoulders as well. All right, time's up. Release out of the stretch and come back to center. We're moving into a hamstring hook with a strap. So grabbing your strap and lay down on your mat. From here, we're gonna hook it around the bottom of one foot, relaxing your other leg straight and your upper body down. You're gonna use your arms to pull that leg back, feeling a stretch in the hamstring. We are holding for 45 seconds. Now, if you have really tight hamstrings, you might have more of a knee bend, but try to get that leg a little bit straighter, even if that means it's got to be down and you can't pull it up very far. So try to relax that leg and let the arms and the strap do the work. All right, time's up on that side. Go ahead and switch. And we're holding for 45 seconds. All right, and time is up. Release and come back up to center. We're moving into an upper back stretch. Seated comfortable, torso's up nice and tall. You're gonna wrap your arms as far up as you can, bringing your hands onto your back and try to bring them as far back as you're able to. Bringing your chest in and think about pulling your shoulder blades apart. We're gonna drop our chin to our chest and hold for 30 seconds. So thinking about pressing that back apart, pulling the shoulder blades away from each other. All right, time is up, so release and come back to center. Next, we're gonna release the lats. So in order to find the spot you want to place on the foam roller, you're going to lift your arm up, take your hand, slide it right underneath your armpit and straight back. Then you're going to go down just slightly. So it's right up in this area that we want to place on the top of the foam roller. So coming into position, again, finding that spot, it's slightly back and down from your armpit. You're just going to lay comfortable position. Hand can be down for support. We're going to raise the other arm straight out. And then from here, you're going to lower and raise that arm. We're going to repeat for 30 seconds. If it feels super uncomfortable, you can kind of put more pressure on that supporting arm to take some off the foam roller, but if you can, try to have a bit more weight on it. All right, time's up on that side. Go ahead and switch. And repeating for 30 seconds. All right, time is up. Go ahead and release and come back to center. That's all for today's routine. We'll see you back here tomorrow.